Hey up guys, and what's going on, and welcome back to York City. You may remember I was given £89 million to spend. That's my profit so far. I've spent a net of £34 million. It's been an interesting summer window. Oh, and that symbol in the top left, I might be England manager. I got the offer about halfway through the transfer window. I was very tempted to ask people about what to do with this because obviously, how is this going to affect the actual York stuff? The answer is probably not a lot. If I do English stuff, it's going to be either on a weekend upload or a double upload. The York is going to stay at 5 o'clock every day, no matter what. That might, maybe World Cup aside, that might be the only time it actually gets interrupted. But if I do any sort of qualification or international league stuff, then it'll be a separate upload on a day, either weekend or earlier. I'll do a separate video, of course, just for the England overview in general tomorrow. So I'm not going to go into too much here. Part of the reason for it was basically, if I'm managing English players, it might make it easier for them to sign for York. If I build a relationship, then that relationship's there for me to then sign them for my actual club team. It's sneaky, I know, but the offer was there. I wasn't going to say no, really. It did take me about 15 minutes to say yes, though. And now for the transfers. We finally got rid of Nick Tay. He's signed on a free. He's been sold for £13.5 million. A whole wave of teams came in after I accepted a £13.5 million offer. So I suspect I may have been able to have got more for him. Never mind. But he's gone to Benfica. Never really featured due to the registration restriction stuff. And he performed woefully when he was sent out on loan. So, goodbye, Nick. And then the weird outbound transfer is Ethan Laird. Cardiff have spent £21.5 million on him. And they've given him £73,000 in wages. Don't say it myself. He was a very good backup. But I'm going to take that money. Thank you very much, Cardiff. Speaking of taking money, thank you very much, Ruben Loftus-Cheek has gone to Parma for basically the entirety of his wages. And for a player worth that much, I tried to shift him permanently, but that wasn't happening, apparently. So, thank you, Parma. Same kind of situation with Pembele. His wages are fine. Realistically, technically, he was actually pretty good. But they're also paying me a monthly thing, our Sociedad, so thank you, Sociedad. Oh, and Alonso's gone on loan. This one's more due to inbound players, but also there's been a registration issue. It's a registration issue that's going to see Velasquez go out on loan as well. There's been a whole bunch of offers accepted. None of them have actually gone through just yet, but one of them presumably will actually go through. He signed a new contract with us. It's a reasonable amount of money. Whoever signs him is going to be paying me that money, thankfully. But yeah, essentially, before Velasquez accepted offers, we were one player over our registration limit, and one person was going to kick off probably. So thank you, Nicolas, and thank you those clubs who came in for him. I offered both him and Maxence out. Velasquez got the offers. And the reason why I offered Nicolas and Maxence out is because Adam Wright had accepted an offer to come in at that point. So it made sense. He was the only really decent English player under 21. He's in for Man City. He's just capable basically in every section. Great teamwork, great work rate. For someone who's going to come in as a rotation option, having those kind of team-orientated mentors in particular, I think is useful. £12,500 a week as well. But as a fifth choice backup, it's fine. Weirdly, he can do striking. Don't know how with 9 finishing, but sort of technically capable in the positions ahead and behind him as well. Realistically, I don't think he's actually that bad as a defensive midfielder. Well, a deep lying anyway in that role, regardless. Next up are a couple of frees. This one was pretty much the only one sorted before the end of the season, and it's Leandro Hidalgo, who's coming on a free after being released by Porto, and he's actually technically on the same level as Dutra according to this. It does depend who you ask, of course, on my staff, but Dutra is ahead of him, sometimes by half a star, but he's a very capable backup, obviously. Joe Lumley still here as a third choice, of course. Trafford's gone on a free at the end of this year anyway, so he's gone. Jack Harrison's a bit of a weird one. He can play both sides as a winger or an inside forward. I was lured in by his English nationality, but he's technically not trained in any nation or club. Don't know how he's managed that. On this right-hand side, he's technically behind Ebersbach, who's still here. So is Madeira. All those promises I made last year, yeah, they didn't come about. It's the reason why Alonso's gone on loan, because we haven't sold Madeira. But he's not going to be my first choice. But before we get to that situation, just left back, obviously we were looking for one, and for £725,000 is a player on far too many wages. Ariel Castillo has come in at left back. He's a backup with potential, basically. That's it. That's the only reason for it. Needs to do better in marking, but tackling, passing, and he's decent going forward as well. What I'd like to see. He's basically just that one star behind Saxton in every respect. The perfect backup apart from his wages. Also 25 caps for Peru. And then what I feel like is the bargain of the entire window is about £5 million this transfer. Thomas Cantaro. Whilst Castillo only cost me £725,000, his wages means he doesn't get the transfer of the window, in my opinion. There's hours all over the place. I don't know what's going on here. But Cantoro is on £20,000 a week. He cost me £5 million. We can do either centrally or inside forward on that right hand side. 18 dribbling, great other technicals in some areas, 18 determination as well. He's got potential, so hopefully gets there. Brave as well, which is something a lot of our wingers don't have for some reason. Some of his physicals could do with being a bit better, but 16, 14 in pace and acceleration, I'll take it any day of the week. He's got both 10 finishing and crossing, so inside forward and inside inverted winger have annoyingly similar problems. But he will be starting on that right hand side. Ebersbach will be behind. Jack Harrison is just going to be basically fifth choice, back up to both of those wing sides. And then also for just over 5 million is Victor Vidal, who will be starting in that central role. Cantoro can go in there as well, as we saw. But 19 passing, 14 technique, 17 vision. Determination is not superb, but we can get that up a little bit. Physicals are good. First touch is great. Dribbling is great as well. He's got the potential. Only long shots really missing from the attacking midfielder as well. The attacking playmaker. Ooh. And with that lot, you can see why we had issues with registration. Again, another one with a baffling amount of hours on his page. But Ryan Nyambi, we've signed for about 8 million. Considering we sold Laird for 20 million, I don't understand his star rating, by the way. Yeah, he's not great going forward, but physically at 30, 19 natural fitness. He can certainly do a job for us for a while, I would say. Great mentals as well. And his technicals defensively are pretty good, actually. Going forward, bit iffy. Can cover central defence if necessary, which is super useful because we had to loan players out in central defence, as you saw with Pembele. And then there's another player I feel like is massively underrated star-wise as well. Like, Nyambi is not 2-star, that's for certain. Sekou Koita, I'm going to presume that's pronounced, is not 3 stars, in my opinion. He's not a 3-star player. Like, you compare him to Escobar, Koita's definitely got the advantage there. And by more than... Like, everyone apparently is 3 stars here, Madeira included. Alois Silva, of course. We've still got him. We'll still play him. But £60,000 a week. There was a moment when we were going to go for Ryan Brewster. He wanted £90,000 a week. And it was a bigger transfer value as well. This was 14.5 million up front. There's a little bit extra. Ryan Brewster was 28.5 million. So for basically half the price and 2/3 of the wages, we've got a player who is exactly the same star rating, according to the scouting, and exactly the same age. Yeah, sure, he's not homegrown, but we actually didn't need homegrown at that point. Bargain. And finally, I get to the player that I kept teasing towards the end of last year, the defensive midfielder, £19 million release clause is Teco, 18 years old. Yeah, he's only worth 12.5 million right now, but he only has one con, and that's heading department. Ignore obviously the other one because that's just eligibility. Heading is his only weak spot, and that's because his jumping reach is 11. He is 6 foot tall. His heading is 9. It can get developed. It's not an issue. But 16 passing, 19 teamwork, 19 determination, 17 work rate, 15 leadership for an 18-year-old. Insane team-orientated mentals for an 18-year-old. Yeah, his physicals are a bit iffy. His natural fitness is actually going up, apparently. Although I'm not sure how much stock I could give these arrows, considering what we've seen on the other ones. But he's getting better every day, apparently. Technique's going up. I mean, marking, tackling, and technique were all 11 when I was initially looking at them, so I definitely know those have gone up already. And I'm really, really glad they have, because it would have been harder to justify this transfer if they were all still 11. But he's obviously taking over from Lentas. Lentas can cover defence as well if I need him to. It's also a position I'm not playing, which is where this transfer becomes a little baffling. We will play a defensive midfielder against teams that are theoretically better than us, like the big six in England and in Europe potentially. But for teams that we should theoretically be better than, we'll be playing 4-2-3-1 with an attacking midfielder. Both of those have been trained. It's not an issue. Speaking of being trained, welcome to the risk. Jean-Marc Poncet, or Ponce, he is French. 18 years old. He cost me 27 million in total. His value is 25, so I'm feeling okay on that now. But his current ability 3 stars. Now, current ability is as a winger on the right hand side, but you look at that, very strong right foot. He's already partially on the way to getting left-sided there, so he will be my starting player on that left-hand side. Madeira will be his backup, and then of course we've got Harrison to play both sides backup in the long run. What this means is, despite the fact I had basically 90 million to spend, is we've not really moved on the season preview. We've gone, well, 45-1 is pretty certain was where we started last year. We drifted out to 50 at one point. We went into 40 at one point. But nonetheless, 45-1 is where we are. But of course, we have just brought in a lot of young players with development potential. So we might see that go up throughout the year. It's not something we've kind of had for a couple of years now. Because the Premier League, we've not really had the money to buy those potential players until this year. Federico Rossi, it's a bit irritating. Tottenham have signed the best striker again. Last year they nicked Sam Boudat from me, although his wages would have stopped him anyway. I went in for him. I actually had an offer accepted for Rosie, 50 million, exactly what they pay for him. Wasn't interested. I have Europa League football. Tottenham have nothing. I wasn't going to click on him, but then I figured you better see what we missed out on. Ultimately, money speaks, even if he's not playing European football. Yeah, I'm mad at that one. Oh, by the way, Edison was available on a free at the end of the year. He's gone to Everton. I was tempted, but we'd already agreed to get that backup that we've got already. So it would have been a bit harsh to usurp Dutra even for a year as well, I felt like. But there we are. We are predicted 10th again, but I do suspect this will go up over the course of the year because those young players should theoretically develop. And I feel like the last year in particular, we kind of were playing with a team that had maxed out everywhere. Like I think Madeira's maxed out, I think Ebersbach's maxed out, or at least haven't got a lot to grow into at this stage. I think it's only really players like Alois, Silva and the defence that had a little bit of room to grow still. I would not be surprised to see this go up over the course of the year. And our first match is against Southampton, a team who saw they're 2 places ahead of us but not drastically different from us, and we are playing at home. So I'll wait for the first match to be played. Right, there we are. Chelsea are beating Arsenal by 3 goals in injury time. What the genuine hell's happened over there? Did the goalkeeper take an injury? No, but Lucas Torreira did. A bizarre game. Anyway, Southampton, of course, in that European mix with us. They just missed out. Not too far off. But we are at home. We have won the majority of them. The issue is, there's been some kind of... I think it's the Olympics that have meant a lot of people have been out on international duty, the young players in particular. Velasquez unregistered. That's because he's going on loan. So what that Olympics means is that we miss out on Ponce and Cantaro on this particular one. I will keep saying Cantaro. It is Cantoro. We'll get there. Koita, by the way, I do love Koita because he's so good at multiple things. Like if I go on this, he's only bad at target man and that's it. Dutra has a 1 to 3 day injury as well. I think he's back tomorrow. Hidalgo will start. It's not really a downgrade. Saxon's on the left. Courage and Rick in the middle. Shao on the right. Grimes and Surrey stay there. Madeira and Ebersbach. You thought you'd seen the last of them, didn't you? So did I. Vidal in the middle and Koita up front. Of course, once Ponce and Cantoro are back, they will take over those 2 positions on those either side. But for now, that's our team. Now, Southampton have signed Diego Jota. I went for him as well. He was listed for 20 million, but his wage demands, irritatingly, I could have met. He wanted about £150,000 from me. He accepted 96 from Southampton. I'm not pleased. Now, Jota is 31. Obviously, please bear in mind that 20 million fee is sort of partially that as well. I felt that was a good deal. I mean, in the end, we ended up with Koita, who I am pleased with. And he's already looking to assist Ebersbach here. If Ebersbach can run through, that's wide, the shot, that. But, you know, glad he's remembered how to actually shoot again. I'm still not over that one where he just completely decided to not kick it at an open net. Madeira's coming forward on this left-hand side. They've still kept their numbers. Actually, no. Ebersbach's lost his number, I've just realised. Madeira's still got his number, though. Grimes, Vidal... Madeira, hello. I mean, if Madeira's going to perform like that and do something like that, about half his goals last year were penalties, I'm pretty certain, like 5 of the 10. I've not seen anything like that from Madeira in, well, over a year, let's be honest. But Vidal here just finds Madeira first time near post. Wow, that's a hit. Yeah, I was offering him out in the summer. Maybe that's giving him the kick up the backside that he needed. Oh, the teams that got promoted, West Brom, Newcastle and Cardiff, of course. I do suspect Cardiff have had some kind of consortium. Grimes has scored 2-0. I do suspect Cardiff has some kind of consortium because I do not understand otherwise why they're paying Ethan Laird £73,000 a week. They must have like ridiculous wage budgets to do that. Oh, we got a bit lucky there. It reminds me a lot of that Liverpool goal I complained about, where it ricocheted directly back to the player who kicked it the first time. Anyway, Saxon's on this left-hand side. I mean, that ricochet thing, I did mention it in the time. It works both ways. What's happened here? Oh, there's a penalty in their box, apparently. No, there isn't. Like, everything just stopped. They were about to break as well. I think we got away with that. I don't know if our player decided not to head it because of that call, though. Vidal, Koita, debut goal. It's a debut goal. 3-0. What's happening? Oh, hang on. He might have been offside. I mean, nonetheless, though, this feels like a completely different side. Seri's coming forward. I mean, yeah, don't get me wrong. We won the last 3 games. I think we won all of them. Like, we might have been, like, say, Leeds 3-0 last time out. But it wasn't a convincing 3-0. I think pretty much the only convincing win was the actual last one against a relegation Brighton, was it? I can't remember who it was against now, but that's nearly gone in again. And we certainly weren't particularly convincing against the Southampton team that we played in that 3-game episode. Anyway, Hidalgo, don't mess this up, mate. The good news is, of course, having Hidalgo and Dutra means I can actually put Hidalgo in cup competitions and not feel like I'm particularly weakening the team in any way, shape or form. The problem comes in there, the fact, of course, that Hidalgo is not homegrown, whereas Lumley is a free entry in that regard. But I think I have 9 homegrown players anyway. Homegrown, so Lumley might be able to step out regardless, so we should be okay on that front. I don't really know yet. We've not got to that point of registration. Vidal, we'll see. Vidal's coming forward, still coming forward, and that's gone out for a corner, although penalty is being reviewed again. It's Calabria again. This time it is a penalty, and Madeira will be taking it. Now Madeira steps back here, number 11 still, and he's hit the post, and he's not moved at all. He would have got the rebound if he'd actually tried there. Assertive, keep it going, because, I mean, this is genuine madness. how well we're playing right now. Like, you compare this performance to the Southampton one last time out. I think it was 2-1, was it, last year? I can't remember now. We just about did it. Ah, they've got a goal back. Right then. It's Brooks on the ball. And, well, worth noting that Brooks has made the trip from Bournemouth to Southampton, which is a little bit traitorous. Seri, coming forward now. This should really be about 4-1, though. Madeira, if he's not offside, has made it 3. To stay onside, it's not that difficult, guys. Come on. Is he really that much offside? Oh, for crying out loud. I don't think he actually is, to be honest. I think the near side player, who was also playing, I presume, Koiter on, was playing Madeira on as well. This should be dead and buried at this point. Xiao's going to take over this particular one. He's come in. He's still coming in. He's had a crack himself. I mean, why not, mate? Ebersbach on a 6.3. Ebersbach I didn't try to get rid of, purely because he does count as a homegrown citizen now. Rahausen's going to come on, who doesn't, irritatingly, despite being English. 70 minutes gone, and we've not really seen much else from this half, although we've had 25 shots. Courage has got the ball, but it's gone straight to Durand, and he's giving it back to Jota, who's got ahead of Courage. Number 2 will get across. Jota will get the shot in before, though, and Hidalgo will save, thankfully. 15 minutes to go. Koiter's looking apprehensive. Harrison's nervous, but we just brought him on, so you can't really take him off again. Saxton is booked. So I think what we'll do is we'll give Castillo a shout, and we'll give Alois Silva a run out up front. And we'll just demand a little bit more from our side. Just get them fired up for the last few minutes. Hopefully it didn't work. Ah, well, Zagadu's on the ball. If we throw away this 2-1 lead right now, I'm going to be furious. Pereira's on this near side. Jota is offside, I'm pretty certain, but we've saved anyway. Oh, it's a corner. Somehow he was onside. Not sure. Courage heads forward to Harrison, and Harrison's going to run. There is options on this far side, but if he gets tackled here, I suspect it's highlight over. It was. Courage on the ball. Castillo on the left-hand side. I've given Castillo the number 5 because Xiaonan doesn't use the first team number. Obviously, I've given him a lucky 88 for that. Harrison's headed forward to Alois Silva, and, well, he's missed. 4 minutes of injury time, plus the 1 minute remaining. Harrison, I forgot to look at set pieces on this 4-2-3-1, which means I'm not playing the short corner tactic on this. I will make sure I do that after this recording. Xiao, this is continuing. I'm not sure why, and it's gone back to Hidalgo, and now I'm worried. Okay, he's found Courage, and he's found Madeira. Now, the overlap's available if he wanted to go for it, but he's gone for Xiaonan on this side. Harrison is in space to run, and Harrison scored on his debut. 3-1, finally. Wow. Deserved is the word for it, but Harrison here, and this is a cracking shot, by the way. Just drills it low. The goalkeeper was just confused by it more than anything, I think. And that'll be the last thing we see from this match. 3-1 winners against a team in the mix for Europe with us, I feel like. So, vital 3 points. Maybe the first day of the season, but those 3 points may become valuable by the end of the year. Look at all those debuts as well. 5 debuts for us, 3 debuts for them. 6 debuts for us, in fact, actually. And for a team with 6 new faces in it, that was quite assured, really. I mean, you made me sweat a little bit. A good win, boys. It was Harrison's first game back in English football since departing Man City in June 2021. 7 years ago. Now, neither our Eurocup or our Carabao Cup fixtures have been drawn just yet, but I do see Man United and Arsenal hovering either side of the first Eurocup group stage match. So they'll probably feature one of these two. Haven't decided which one just yet. Second year in Europe, we're not going to feature as many of the actual group stage games, I don't think, really, unless they, line up with, say, Tottenham here, the final one in particular. And this one's alongside Liverpool, so actually that's not the final group stage. What? Are we in a 3-team situation now in the Europa Cup? There's only 4 matches. Well, regardless of how many matches we've got to play, we won't be obviously featuring quite as much. We certainly won't be doing both legs unless it's, deep into the tournament at that point in the knockout rounds. But I am looking for some silverware this year, so it'll either be Man United or Arsenal alongside that first group stage game. I'll see you for that. Until next time, ta-ra. Oh, and of course, look out for that England video tomorrow.